This is breaking news from RTV6, working for you.
Breaking this midday, 2 more possible shooting deaths today. This happened less than an hour ago on the northeast side of Indianapolis. Our Rafael Sanchez is at the live desk gathering information as it comes in. Rafael, you were just making phone calls moments ago. What have we learned so far?
So moments ago, Meredith, good afternoon. New images and information coming into the live desk. Let's first take you to the area where this investigation is happening right now. There it is. Police called to a home at North Irwin Avenue and East 45th Street just after 11 this morning on the report of a shooting. Let's take you there now with these live pictures. Our photographer, Shay Goodpastor, just arrived there at the scene. I am told that when Metro Police arrived, they found 2 people dead in this area in that red vehicle, I'm told. The initial 911 call came in at 11:11. The caller described 2 men in a vehicle who the caller said were shot. Again, our crew just arrived there on the scene. This is the point of the investigation. Of course, police now doing their jobs, canvassing the area, talking to as many people as possible, trying to figure out exactly what happened. We will have more information for you as it develops here at the live desk. That is the latest. Now back to you in Studio A.
Rafael, thank you. We will continue to follow that story throughout the afternoon. Also new this midday, the coroner in Madison County has released the identities of 2 men who were found dead in a garage. The 2 were found after family members called police for a welfare check at a home near East 31st Street and Fletcher Street. 61-year-old Randy Talley and 53-year-old Stephen Sanquinetti were found inside. Police say it appears the men were working on a car in the garage and there are no signs of foul play. The cause of their death is still under investigation and an autopsy is pending. We want to take a turn now and get a look outside. The last time we saw meteorologist Todd Clausen, it was about 10 degrees colder outside. And Todd, the temps are going to continue to rise throughout the day.
Yeah, that's the good news. The storm system that is going to bring us a lot of rain is also bringing us some mild temperatures. And we're at 37 right now, but we'll end up in the low 50s. Storm Team 6 radar is pretty quiet right now, at least locally. Noticed a few showers just across the state line in Illinois, but the clouds are already starting to increase across the area. So from this point forward, probably not much in the way of any sunshine across the area. And then eventually some of these showers will start to work their way in here as well. However, we probably get through the daytime hours dry with just mostly cloudy skies. By the time we get to sunset or just before, could be a few spotty showers off towards the west. And then we'll see scattered showers work in during the evening hours. But the heaviest of this rain is going to hold off until very late tonight and then into the overnight hours. But once it starts again, we are going to see a lot of it across the area. Temperatures starting to warm, 45 in Indy. Bloomington is at 50 degrees, and this warmer air will continue to work its way north. So you'll probably get close to 60 degrees today in Bloomington towards the tail end of the day. Here in the city, we're probably getting up to about 53 degrees, although the wind will make it feel a little bit cooler. We build in those spotty showers this evening. By 10 p.m., it's turning pretty wet across the area. We'll talk more about your Friday and Saturday, which are extremely wet, and the flood watch that is posted as well coming up in just a few minutes. Meredith.
Todd, thank you. As of now, Indiana's public school teachers are not likely to see an immediate boost in pay. It was their top priority at a rally that drew 15,000 educators to the State House back in November. But Republicans who control the General Assembly have other ideas on how to spend some unexpected tax revenue. Our Kelsey Anderson has been tracking this story and joins us live right now in studio. Kelsey, Democratic lawmakers today talked about how they are not giving up the fight for a teacher pay raise.
Yeah, that's right, Meredith. It would appear that a pay raise for teachers is unlikely during this year's session. But that isn't stopping some lawmakers from pressing forward on the issue that topped the wish list of the 15,000 teachers who marched on the state capitol back in November. Today, state Senate Democrats released 2 plans they say would give more money to public school teachers immediately. One plan would adjust payments made to the state's teacher retirement fund that senators say would free up money for teacher salaries every year. And a second plan would add money to the fund that gives more money to teachers that are rated as effective.
We all know that Indiana teachers, unfortunately, since 2002 have seen the lowest pay growth in the nation. And we also know that Indiana teachers are paid less than teachers in all of the surrounding states, and that is simply unacceptable.
Now, these plans may not see the light of day. However, there is no indication that Senate Republican leaders will schedule a hearing for those bills, and Governor Holcomb wants to wait until the state budget is considered next year. As we told you before, at least one part of the teacher wish list will likely be passed by lawmakers this session. There is bipartisan support to temporarily protect teachers and schools from facing penalties for low scores on the state's iLearn exam. Meredith?
Kelsey, thank you. The election is right around the corner, and the FBI says it's trying to be ahead of the curve when it comes to securing your vote. Today, the FBI talked about how it's working to prevent outside interference in the election. Though there is no evidence that any votes were compromised in Indiana 4 years ago, the intelligence community says Russia was actively working to interfere in the election. FBI agents say you should start watching out now for phony info about candidates online.
This information, I don't think that's going to change drastically from 2016. I think that there's going to be a lot of people pushing out information either because it's, the best information that they have, or it could be state-sponsored, trying to feed misinformation to influence a particular campaign.
And new this midday, Facebook says it will continue to allow politicians and political candidates to lie in paid political ads. New rules released today by Facebook will allow you to opt out of seeing political ads if you want. Facebook will also give users the choice to see fewer ads that are targeted to them either by political candidates or companies. Critics, however, say the new rules still allow false information to spread easily, as it did on Facebook during the 2016 campaign. Twitter already has banned all political ads from its social network, and Google says it will limit how political candidates target ads toward viewers on YouTube. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is facing more questions this midday about whether she should send the articles of impeachment against President Trump to the Senate. Pelosi is meeting with House Democrats today. The Speaker has said she was waiting to send the articles until getting assurance that Senate Republicans will also allow witnesses who were blocked by President Trump from testifying to the House. But some Democrats now believe voters will hold Republicans accountable if a Senate trial isn't fair to their side.
It was perfectly advisable for the Speaker to try to leverage that to get a better deal. At this point, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And yes, I think it is time to send the impeachment to the Senate and let Mitch McConnell be responsible for the fairness of the trial.
The House is also expected to take up a war powers resolution today. It would limit President Trump's power to order military action against foreign powers.
When it comes to intelligence, we have to protect sources and methods, and so there's only a certain amount that we can share with every member of Congress. But those of us who have seen all the evidence know that there is a compelling case of an imminent threat against American personnel, and President Trump was right to act.
But Vice President Mike Pence joined other White House officials in not offering specific evidence of threats tied to Iran. Next on the news at noon, the Trump administration is now facing criticism from other Republicans over the escalation of the conflict. Todd.
And Meredith, the clouds are increasing here across central Indiana, and rain is on the way. In fact, that rain will become heavy at times in the coming days. The storm system just getting itself together across the southwest. We'll have the timeline and the impacts coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. You're watching the news at noon right here on RTV6.
Down continues tonight only on ABC.
President Trump announced new economic sanctions against Iran instead of new military attacks. The sanctions come after this week's missile attack aimed at U.S. troops in Iraq. But the administration still has not backed up its contention that attacks on American interests were imminent, which is what it says led to the drone strike that killed a top Iranian general. ABC's Rachel Scott has more from Washington.
This morning, the tension between the U.S. and Iran easing as the fallout ripples throughout Washington. Vice President Mike Pence defending the president's order to kill Iran's top commander, Qasem Soleimani, in an interview with ABC's George Stephanopoulos.
In the last 6 months, in the wake of President Trump's maximum pressure campaign, we've seen a rise of violence, all being driven by Soleimani. 2 of our drones shot down. An American service member killed.
But the White House has not released any evidence to the public that Soleimani presented an imminent threat. Behind closed doors, the president's national security team gave a classified briefing to Congress. Democrats left outraged. Republican Senator Mike Lee calling it the worst briefing he's attended in nearly a decade.
They had to leave after 75 minutes. while they're in the process of telling us that we need to be good little boys and girls and run along and not debate this in public. I find that absolutely insane.
The House now preparing to vote on a resolution to limit the president's power to act against Iran and make it clear he needs congressional approval if he wants to go to war. The president tweeting he hopes all House Republicans will vote against it. This as newly released satellite images revealed the scale of damage from the 16 missiles Iran launched at the 2 bases where American troops are stationed. An early warning system allowed American troops to move into bunkers before the attack. No casualties for U.S. or coalition forces, but overnight a small rocket attack near the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. A spokesperson for the coalition saying there was no casualties or damage to facilities there. President Trump insists the Iranian regime appears to be standing down, announcing new economic sanctions, but no additional military action. And Iran has warned the United States to pull all American troops from the region, threatening more retaliation. Well, Vice President Mike Pence says the Trump administration has no plans to change the presence of U.S. military. Rachel Scott, ABC News, Washington.
Major changes could be coming to a Broad Ripple Park. The city says it would mean a new community facility, but some neighbors say the plan is to fight that construction at a public hearing later today. More on that coming up.
800-850-5054. I'm Ted Rollins. Today on Court TV, more coverage of a riveting case out of Ohio. The parents of a baby boy whose name was Dylan Groves are accused of murdering him and then hiding his body in a well. Daniel and Jessica Groves are being tried together. Jessica claims that she was the only one that beat Dylan to death, while her husband knew nothing. She was under the influence at the time, she claims. Little Dylan was born with drugs in his system and spent 12 days in foster care. His foster mother, who broke down on the witness stand, said she knew it was a bad idea to give Dylan back to his parents.
Did you provide your number or anything
I
of
did.
that?
I just basically in the letter said that how much I loved Dylan, cared about him, and that I just wanted to be maybe, if I could be involved or to have them maybe just let me know about some milestones that he reaches.
Did you offer to help if they were needing help?
I did. I said, if you ever need anything, to call me, and I gave him my phone number.
Did they ever reach out to you after that?
No.
We're also in New York for day 3 of jury selection in the Harvey Weinstein rape trial. Opening statements are scheduled for January 22nd. We'll have continuing coverage of both trials and other legal news from around the country throughout the day on Court TV. Now back to you.
Ted, thanks. You can learn more about other cases around the nation right now at courttv.com. Big changes may be coming to Broad Ripple Park as leaders want to build a new family center and primary care facilities for Community Health Network. But some who live in the area say there is no need for new construction. Indy Parks wants to tear down the old library at the park and build a new building that would include a doctor's office. Some neighbors don't like the idea of a doctor's office in the park, but Indy Parks says the $19 million project isn't possible unless they partner with Community Health. There is a public hearing on the plan at the City County building today at 1 o'clock. The wildfires in Australia are not dying down. The hottest year on record on the continent has been followed by more record heat and high winds fueling fires. ABC's Maggie Rulli tells us relief is not yet on the way.
The U.S. State Department has now issued a new level 2 travel warning for any American citizen coming here to Australia, urging them to postpone their visit if they're going to come to an area like this, somewhere that's been affected by these wildfires. And unfortunately, this area is only growing. More than 15 million acres are thought to have burned. At least 25 people have died, and it's believed that more than 1 billion animals have been killed. Today, we were able to meet up with one dog trainer that actually trains dogs to go into the fire zone so they can help find injured animals. And he tells us that so far his group has been able to find dozens of koalas, but he stresses that if he had more dogs, he would be able to save thousands of animals. Well, now everyone here is bracing for what promises to be another day of high fire danger tomorrow. Authorities are asking thousands of people to evacuate, and they're telling them that now is the time to get out. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New South Wales, Australia.
Back here at home, a quiet afternoon for now. Things are going to change about 12 hours from now. Todd, when we are expecting a lot of rainfall, and I mean a lot.
Yeah, and once it starts, it's with us, not just for the overnight period through the morning commute. It's with us through Friday. It's through with Saturday as well. So here are your weather headlines. This evening is when the rain starts. It's probably after sunset in most locations. It's steady all day Friday, fairly steady on Saturday as well. Saturday's, though, the time frame that we get into, I think, the heaviest of the rain, or at least where it's going to be the most intense. Now, right now, we're in the process of bringing some warmer temperatures in. We're in the 50s right now from Terre Haute to Martinsville down towards Bedford, 45 in Indy, low 40s to the north. Everybody should climb into the low 50s here at least this afternoon. Those of you in southern locations, you probably climb up close to 60 degrees. So at least this storm system is bringing some very, very mild air with it. So going forward throughout the day today, there could be a hit or miss sprinkle during the afternoon hours, but it's really not until 10 o'clock onward that we really start to ramp up the rain chances across the area. And you notice a few showers trying to sneak in here towards the Lafayette area. There's more back off to our west in Illinois. And one or two of these will make it in here, I think, this afternoon, and again, those western locations. But the bulk of this rainfall will not arrive until we get into the overnight hours. So we have several rainy days ahead. Today up to 53 degrees. Tomorrow and Saturday, we're into the low 60s. The record for tomorrow is 62 degrees, so that is in jeopardy. The trade-off, though, is all the rainfall that is going to be heading our way. So let's time this all out for you using TrueCast. 3 o'clock this afternoon, not much going on. A few spotty showers after sunset. Once we get closer to the midnight hour and beyond, this is when the heavier rain starts to move in, and you see the coverage is a lot greater as well. And then there's just pockets of moderate to heavy rainfall through the morning commute, 6 a.m. Definitely going to be a wet one at the bus stop. Tomorrow will be a Storm Team 6 alert day as well. And then throughout Friday, the rain just kind of keeps coming. There'll be some breaks here and there across parts of the area, but it's one of those days you always need to have the rain gear handy. That is not going to change. And then as we fast forward into Saturday morning, maybe a little bit of a break, and then a big push of heavier rain comes in for the second half of Saturday as well. So the Storm Prediction Center has put out, or the National Weather Service rather, has put out a flood watch for almost the entire area. Rainfall totals are going to be in that 2 to 4 inch range across the area. Maybe a few locations could be even over 4 inches. The good news is it's about a 24 to 48 hour duration for this rainfall. So we're not going to get that flash flooding. It'll be rivers rising, some ponding in fields, and that's generally what we're going to be dealing with as far as the rainfall potential with the flooding aspect of it. And the National Weather Service will break down that flood watch into advisories or warnings going forward, but just plan on a very wet stretch of weather starting tonight all the way through Saturday. Make those indoor plans. And then behind this system, a little cooler on Sunday, but still above normal at 41, 50s at least for the first half of next week.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. When we come back, an important message to a friend of ours here at RTV6, plus one final check of the weather. We'll be right back.
Keller and Keller.
We want to send our best wishes to Michael Kaltenmark. He is the longtime handler of the Bulldog mascots at Butler University, and today he is getting a new kidney. We have shared his story of his need for a kidney transplant over the past several months. Well, today he is getting a kidney from his brother. Michael's dog, the Butler mascot Trip, also tweeting him well wishes this morning. We will certainly let you know how he is doing as we find out. We are praying for 2 successful surgeries there and many, many more healthier days ahead, Todd.
Exactly. All right. Today, rain will develop this evening. The daytime hours, you should be dry. Warmer air starting to work its way in as we speak. 54 degrees, your high in the city today. 60 for Friday and Saturday. But the problem is going to be enjoying those mild temperatures because of all-day rains tomorrow. Saturday, heavy rain at times. Start making those indoor plans. 2 to 4 inches of rain total by the time we get to Saturday evening. Flood watches are posted, and flooding will become a concern, I think, especially on Saturday. Then a pretty quiet forecast as we start Sunday and next week, with temperatures staying in the 40s and 50s.
Todd, thank you. And thank you for making RTV6 your choice for news. We hope to see you back here at 5. In the meantime, have a great Thursday afternoon. Enjoy the dry weather while you can.